the suggestions I've made so far don't really take up much resources. What you basically do is you're ordering and synchronizing tasks, and you're bringing structure into knowledge. This doesn't really take up a lot of resources. It just takes a lot of reflection and takes a lot of perspective, and you need some kind of model. I think the integral model would be very useful in that context. It takes some kind of abstract model which allows for all these different perspectives and which can bring them in some kind of order. But it doesn't really take resources. Now, if you really want to create a community, of course you need resources where you can bring people together to actually meet and work on these issues together. And the kind of format that we've been missing so far, I think, is where, but it would be in sync with what the intellectual dark web is doing, is a format where you can meet for an extended period of time and study something in depth. I mean, this is the idea here in the intellectual dark web, that you don't only cover the surface, but you ask complex questions, which involve many other questions that have to be answered in order to get anywhere, and you go into a certain depth. So I guess what would make sense is to have a space where you can meet with other people and discuss issues across a longer period of time, of say at least 3 months or something, because I think this is the minimum amount of time that you have to spend on something if you really want to go deep and get a first grasp, a first handle on the complexity of some issues. I think you have to do something for at least this amount of time to really get into a new perspective. If you want to learn, for example, phenomenology, this is really the minimum amount of time that you have to spend on it if you want to have some basic grasp and basic understanding of its complexity. You won't be a professional at it. You won't attain a level of mastery at it in this time, but it will give you at least a basic starting point, and you will have a basic sense of orientation. And so far, wherever you look, I can't find any kind of institution which would be offering this kind of engagement, where people can meet for this period of time. And what I'm envisioning is some kind of a modern day monastery where you can go, you can devote yourself to a specific topic of your own interest together with other people, and then cover the topic and come up with orientational knowledge and with podcasts, with abstracts and so forth that document your own learning process, so that other people from the outside who have not been part of the learning process can get some basic insight of what is going on, what has happened to you people who have been learning something, so that they can get a basic grasp on the potential of what they might be learning there as well, if they cover the topic. I don't know how to make this real, but I mean, there are actual learning communities who meet in learning centers and already spend some time on studying stuff. So I think it's inadvertently it must go in the direction of really getting real places where people can fly, where people can go and meet in person and spend time together on studying issues. And then crucially, again, not just studying and learning and keeping whatever you have learned for yourself, but sharing with other people what you've gone through, sharing some of the results, and teaching them whatever can be taught or whatever can be written down of this learning process for other people to serve it as an orientational knowledge.